Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Just a reminder, the Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time. And also, when you're on my YouTube channel, for all my YouTube viewers, go to the community page, because on the community page you can get links to my weather posts that are on my website, meteorologistjoechaffee.com. So it's a very good option indeed, along with so many others where you can find me, because I am all over the place. Okay, here we go. We've got the edge of the very warm to hot air that has been sitting out to the west, and that has created a lovely boundary zone. It's all covered here in the south. This is where it's hot. We've got the upper high, and of course, the trough that is in the west. That's bringing up moisture into parts of the southwest, taking it up over the top, and then dropping it southward along the eastern seaboard. Something you don't see very often, but that's because the trough is in the position that it's in, well offshore and pretty far to the south. So as a result, we're seeing some of the thunderstorm activity that was rolling through the plains last night coming eastward and then dropping southward. There's not a whole lot of support here. I would have thought the boundary zone here would have been enough to generate some rather heavier downpours. We are seeing a few heavier showers in here, nothing really to write home about. And at least as of 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time, not seeing any thunderstorms. So most of the rain here is more of a nuisance than anything else. It was a little heavier in parts of upstate New York, sliding southward and continuing to move off the New Jersey coast. Some of this isn't even reaching the ground because we're still dealing with some of the leftover dry air from the last several days. But to the west of this boundary zone, we're in the very warm to hot air with temperatures in the 80s west of I-81, and then you start to get into the 90s as you go further west. We're not going to see that heat here in most of in the coastal northeast, and then running down into the northern mid-Atlantic states. Now, as far as severe weather is concerned, just a small area of slight risk today from northeast Kansas to southeastern Iowa. There's a marginal risk that goes up to Michigan. And you can see SPC has laid out an area of general thunderstorms, with that area moving southward. Maybe late this afternoon and this evening, we could see a couple of stronger cells fire up. This is one of those situations where we just have to watch the radar. Now, WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, was indicating a marginal risk, which is generally over 5% but under 15% for some localized flash flooding from extreme northern New Jersey to about New York City, western Connecticut, the Hudson Valley to the Catskills and points north. So far today, we haven't really seen anything regarding that. Notice, by the way, slight to moderate risk of flash flooding down in parts of New Mexico. I mentioned this because of the fact that it's been so bone dry for so many months here that at least some of this area is getting into some heavier rains. And also in that area of severe weather risk, we've got a marginal risk of flash flooding. Now, tomorrow, there is a larger risk area west of New York City, western New Jersey, into Pennsylvania, and they even have indicated a slight risk of flash flooding, which is at least 15, but lower than 40% in the eastern half of Pennsylvania, mainly to the west of I-81. That's really going to ultimately depend on how everything sets up with regards to tomorrow. Total rainfall for the next 7 days from the morning WPC forecast of 2 to 3 inches going into Thursday. Now, we're obviously not going to get that today, but we do have more rain to contend with as we go into Wednesday night and Thursday. I'm going to run through just a couple of the models here. We'll start with I have the GFS up, so we might as well start with that. And the GFS has been doing sort of funny things here with this, because you got this first area that comes down, really doesn't produce all that much. It starts to fire up though again as we move. Actually, one of the things I'm just noticing now is the fact that the GFS completely does not have the rain that's down on the radars into New Jersey, to eastern New Jersey. It does bring some overnight, and then it starts to form a low there in eastern North Carolina, but it seems to emphasize that the heaviest rains will be in central Pennsylvania and points east, and then it really develops that low east of the North Carolina coast. Almost looks a little subtropical there. Then it moves on out to the northeast toward Nova Scotia. I'm not 100% convinced that that's going to be the outcome here. If we take a look at the HRRR, the latest run of the HRRR, even here, we don't see this model doing a good job picking up what's on the radar. So that makes this a little suspect too. So why don't we jump over to the NAM model? And here on the NAM, same thing. Not really showing as much as what's being indicated by some of the radar. So we'll run through all of this. Let's assume that what we get on Wednesday is correct here on the runs. And here's where it starts to generate more rain and some heavier downpours later Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night over New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. And then it starts to slowly shift eastward as we move through Thursday before gradually moving away to the northeast. I think the best way to approach this for all of eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England is to just say that we've got some showers around this afternoon into this evening. We'll probably catch a break, and then there's the risk of heavier downpours and maybe even a thunderstorm or two tomorrow. That is maybe where we start to see some potential for some localized flash flooding, and then everything goes on out. And we start to see improving weather conditions going into the Friday. And as far as the weekend is concerned, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid. But it's not really going to be hot. And then we have a cold front that's going to come on Monday. And that, I think, has a good chance of producing some showers and thunderstorms and maybe some severe weather with this because we have a strong upper trough connected with it. And then after that, we turn a little cooler and a little less humid for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And then another weak front comes through on Thursday, and on it goes. The more this pattern, the trend is your friend. And until we see obvious signs of the long-range pattern changing, we're just going to be pretty much the same idea with fronts coming through every couple of days. And except for the odd day here and there, it really can't get hot. The Joe and Joe Weather Show, 7:30 tonight Eastern Time. We hope to see you then.